Two things to talk about. We've got a trade to announce, and we've got a game to break down. I'll be honest, I was out with a few buddies of mine, so I was not free to make a video about the trade once it dropped. We also watched a movie, so I was not able to watch the majority of this Canucks game, but whilst I was at the old spaghetti factory having a pretty good bowl of clam chowder, the Vancouver Canucks made themselves a trade which saw forward Anthony Beauvillier get sent over to the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for a 5th-round pick. Now, I don't want to talk about trade trees, I don't want to talk about Bo Horvat, I don't want to talk about any of that. I just want to talk about this trade in a vacuum within the context of the Vancouver Canucks and their salary cap. This was a good move. Anthony Beauvillier has been on the trade rumor sphere for a very long time. Like, the entire season, we've been talking about the idea of a Beauvillier trade, because the guy's making $4.15 million a year till the end of this season. 26 years old, and he had 8 points in 22 games for Vancouver. Definitely not the most impressive player on the team, but somebody that worked decently hard. He had a few skills. He would get streaky once in a while, but for the caliber of play that he provided, especially in the middle to bottom six of this lineup, this was just not a player who was worth the cap. And with the Vancouver Canucks wanting to expend some money on guys like Ethan Bear coming up, maybe make another trade for a defenseman, getting rid of somebody like a Garland or a Beauvillier was a necessity. And they're able to do so with the Chicago Blackhawks with no sweeteners attached. They get a 5th-round pick back, which is great. They sent away a 5th-round pick earlier to get Sam Lafferty on the team, so if you think about this more so as just a Lafferty in, Beauvillier out type of situation, especially when you consider how well guys like Nils Åman and Nils Höglander have been playing so far, this makes sense. This opens up room on the roster. If you wanted to get another guy like, let's say, Vasily Podkolzin up in here, you could do that. Arshdeep Bains, maybe give him a chance, that would be cool. But because there's a lot of names rotating around the bottom six, because Beauvillier was not really the most important guy, because he's making 4.1 mil, this is great. Just a very surface-level baseline trade where the Vancouver Canucks freed up cap and they didn't need to attach any sweeteners to do so. Now, why would the Chicago Blackhawks want to go out there and do this themselves? Well, if you've been paying attention to anything hockey-related the past 24 hours, you'd know that Corey Perry found himself off the team. He was removed, and now all of a sudden there's a winger spot open on that team, so why not get a guy like Anthony Beauvillier? If he doesn't work out, then hey, he's gone after next season anyway, so who really cares? Who knows? Maybe you'll see Anthony Beauvillier and Jason Dickinson start tearing things up together, because you know Jason Dickinson started playing really well once he got sent away from Vancouver. But either way, Vancouver made a great trade. It's a very small one, but it was one that I was not able to talk about right away. Let's get into the game now. When it comes to this showcase, Vancouver versus Anaheim, this is one of the more important games because it's against a Pacific Division rival, a team that Vancouver may or may not have themselves a battle with for a playoff spot sometime down the line. So taking the 2 points in regulation with a 3-1 win, that was important. Now, I'm going to base all of my opinions and analysis on this game based off of second-hand information because I did not watch more than the third period from this individual showcase. First period, you saw yourselves Brock Boeser score himself a goal. Amazing. I'm going to look at the replay here live because I did not see this goal actually go in myself, but it's JT Miller who starts things out by taking the puck up high. Oh my goodness, he backhands the puck in deep, centered it back. Okay, Miller in front, Hronek the shot, the rebound. Brock Boeser is right there in the crease. Talk about crashing the crease in the blue paint, baby. Brock Boeser making it 1-0. Assists go out to Hronek and Miller. With this goal, Brock Boeser is now number 1 in the NHL in goals because Nikita Kucherov started out the night at 15 on the year. Boeser was tied with him, so Boeser up to 16. He overtakes Kucherov and Sam Reinhart for first in the league. Wait until the second period, and Ryan Strome is able to tie things up on the power play. The Ducks capitalize on some nifty puck movement in front of the net. They throw it across the crease over to Strome, who takes it, he drags it, he shoots it, and he goes far side. Assists over to Henrique and Vetrano. You then had yourselves Elias Pettersson at the start of the third period. This is where I actually started listening to the game. I had it on in the radio, but eventually was able to listen out as the Vancouver Canucks throw the puck to the goal. It gets sent down the boards. Tyler Myers chips it down low, and eventually it's wrapped out in front by Elias Pettersson, finally getting back on the board with his 9th on the season. This was a pretty good period for Petey, all things considered. He was dangling guys, he was hitting guys, he actually started to look more like the Pettersson of old. And I'm not going to fully say that Elias Pettersson is back 100%. We kind of need maybe a multi-point game to really cement that in here. Let's hold our horses a little bit. But a goal like this, assisted by Tyler Myers and Ilya Mikheyev, definitely helps out in that respect. The goal is scored 32 seconds into the third period, and with a few seconds, 48 seconds actually, at the end of the period, you have yourselves Brock Boeser, who scores a power play empty net goal to give Vancouver the 3-1 lead and ultimately win this game 3-1. The Ducks have the puck behind the Canucks zone, they center it out, and JT Miller is there to block the pass. He redirects it right to Brock Boeser, who takes his time, loads up, and fires it all the way down the ice from the Vancouver zone right into the middle of the Anaheim net. 3-1, Boeser with 17 goals on the year, 2 tonight, so that's 2 goals in back-to-back games for Brock Boeser, and of course, this puts his lead, first in the NHL, at a much higher rate. He's got more goals than Kucherov, he's got more goals than Austin Matthews. Brock Boeser is the unanimous number 1 goal guy. JT Miller, the unanimous number 2 points guy, overtaking Quinn Hughes with his 2 assists on the night. He's at 35 points, Kucherov is at 37, Hughes still there at 33. He is now 1 above Cale Makar. And oh my goodness, we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Ay. These 2 guys are just so gosh darn good. It's crazy that they're so close still in terms of the overall points race. Quinn Hughes did not get an assist tonight, so that snaps his, 11-game point streak that has taken precedence over the past little while. You could see the Canucks trying to get the puck to Quinn on the final power play, but at the end of the game, it's nothing for him. It was Miller and Boeser who got that power play goal, but either way, Vancouver wins this one 3-1. I'm seeing a lot of conversations popping up about the Canucks and their shots, because in the first 2 periods of the game, Vancouver was down 27-12 in shots on goal. They really dominated the third in shots though, 15-4. They totaled up only being down by 7 in the entirety of the game. So good on Vancouver for coming right back out here. And if you go over to the Money Puck conversation, take a look at what the game score was from their website. The deserve to win meter had Vancouver at a 56th percentile chance of winning this game. So Vancouver deserved the win. They got the win. This was a well-won game. Anaheim now drops, their 7th game in a row? Unfortunate for a team that started out so hot. It's almost like Vancouver in a way. Start out hot, lose a few games here and there, and all of a sudden you are in a pretty bad slump. But for Vancouver, this should be a return to form. This is a game where you started to see some of the guys coming back out to play. Elias Pettersson, of course, with the production, the Boeser points, the Miller points, Quinn Hughes still looking good, and Andrei Kuzmenko making his return into the lineup actually looked really strong in this game today. He drove some very positive 5-on-5 results. And the goal scored by Elias Pettersson partly happens because Andrei Kuzmenko rushes the middle and crowds up John Gibson a little bit, gives him a bit of a tough time, which opens up the space for Petey to wrap it around and get the goal in. So, Andrei Kuzmenko, this is what you want to see, man. The guy doesn't get a point, but he still goes out there, does some things. He gets a block in this game, actually, too. So, good on Kuzi for stepping up and blocking pucks. But also with blocks, you had yourselves a few injuries that were tossed out there. Ilya Mikheyev blocked a Tyler Myers shot. He looked really hurt, so we'll see what happens with him as the days go on. Tyler Myers also looked a little bit shaken up after a little bit too, so we'll see how he's able to bounce back as well. But at the end of the day, the Vancouver Canucks follow up a big Anthony Beauvillier trade, a cap-freeing trade for a 5th-round pick, with a big win over the Anaheim Ducks. Pacific Division rivals, 3-1 at home. Brock Boeser, 2 goals, and then, of course, Elias Pettersson with the other one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about today's Vancouver Canucks news. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.